"You're too boring for someone like Jake anyway," my best friend announced when she started dating my ex-boyfriend at my birthday party. So I walked out without a word. This morning, she's crying because Jake discovered the screenshots I anonymously sent him of her cheating, but I'm done. Hey, before we move on to the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Thanks. I'm still processing what happened 3 months ago at my 26th birthday party. I thought I knew what betrayal looked like, but Chloe taught me there are levels to cruelty I never imagined. Chloe and I had been best friends since we were 14. 12 years of sleepovers, shared secrets, and what I thought was genuine loyalty. She was the confident one, the one who lit up rooms when we walked in together. I was the steady friend, the one who remembered birthdays, helped with moves, and showed up with soup when she was sick. Jake and I dated for 2 years before breaking up 6 months ago. It was mutual and mature. We both felt like we were going through the motions. We agreed to stay friendly since we shared the same social circle. Nothing dramatic, just 2 people who realized they worked better as friends. During our breakup, Chloe was incredibly supportive. She brought me ice cream and repeatedly told me I deserved better. "You're too good for him anyway," she'd say. "You need someone who actually sees how amazing you are." I felt grateful to have such a caring friend. But looking back, I can see the pattern I was too naive to recognize then. In college, there was Marcus, who I'd had a crush on for months. The night I finally worked up the courage to talk to him at a party, Chloe swooped in while I was getting drinks. By the time I came back, they were making out against the wall. "I was just testing him for you," she explained the next morning. "Trust me, you dodged a bullet. He's not that interesting." Then there was the marketing internship I'd interviewed for and desperately wanted. Chloe heard me talking about it and applied behind my back. She got it. "I only applied because you made it sound so amazing," she said. "But don't worry, I'll put in a good word for you next semester." Next semester never came. Even smaller things, she'd borrow my clothes and somehow make them look effortlessly better, or I'd mention wanting to try a new restaurant, and she'd go there with other friends first, then tell me it wasn't worth the hype. Little by little, I learned to keep my excitement to myself because sharing anything with Chloe meant watching it slip away. The months after Jake and I broke up, Chloe was around constantly. She'd text him occasionally about group plans, which seemed normal enough. She'd ask me if I was totally over him, if I'd be weird about him dating other people. I thought she was just being a considerate friend. I should have known better. For my birthday, I planned a small party at my apartment. Nothing fancy, just pizza, drinks, and about 15 friends from college. I'd been looking forward to it for weeks and even bought a new blue dress that actually made me feel confident. Jake RSVP'd yes, which was fine with me. We'd been texting occasionally, keeping things light. Chloe insisted on bringing the cake. "It's your special day," she said. "Let me handle dessert." The party started perfectly. People were laughing, the music was good, and I felt genuinely happy surrounded by friends I cared about. Jake arrived around 8 with wine and a thoughtful card that made me smile, nothing romantic, just sweet in that familiar Jake way. Around 9:30, Chloe called for everyone's attention. "Time for cake," she announced from the center of my living room. But she didn't bring out cake. Instead, she grabbed Jake's hand and pulled him beside her. My stomach dropped before my brain caught up. "We have an announcement," Chloe said, her voice carrying that bright tone she used when she wanted all eyes on her. "Jake and I have been seeing each other for the past few weeks, and we wanted to share our good news with our favorite people." The room went silent. I felt every pair of eyes turn toward me, waiting for my reaction. He'd flooded my face, but I kept my expression blank. Jake looked uncomfortable, his face red, but he didn't let go of her hand. He glanced at me once, maybe guilt, maybe apology, then looked away. "We know it might seem sudden," Chloe continued, practically glowing, "but when it's real, you just know. You can't fight it." Someone muttered, "Oh, wow." The awkwardness was suffocating. But Chloe wasn't finished. She turned to me with that bright, innocent smile I'd seen her use 1,000 times when she was about to twist the knife. "Emma, you're totally fine with this, right? I mean, you guys broke up ages ago, and you always said you were better as friends." She laughed, the sound sharp and calculated. "Besides, you're too boring for someone like Jake anyway. He needs someone who can actually keep up with him." The words hit like a slap. Not just cruel, but designed to humiliate me in front of everyone I cared about. This wasn't about Jake. This was about putting me in my place, making sure everyone understood the hierarchy. But something interesting happened in that moment. Instead of the crushing embarrassment I expected to feel, I felt nothing. Or rather, I felt a strange clarity, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. I looked at Chloe, really looked at her, and for the first time saw her exactly as she was. Not my best friend, not someone who cared about me, but someone who had spent 12 years using me as a prop to make herself look better. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. I walked to the kitchen, grabbed my purse and keys, and headed for the door. "Emma, where are you going?" Someone called out. I turned back once. Chloe was watching me with this triumphant little smile, like she'd just won a game I didn't know we were playing. "Thanks for coming, everyone," I said calmly. "Feel free to finish the pizza." And I left. My own birthday party. Left them all standing there in my apartment while I walked out into the night. I drove to my favorite late-night diner and sat in a booth, ordering coffee and pie while processing what had just happened. Not the relationship announcement. I genuinely didn't care about that. But the calculated cruelty of it. The deliberate humiliation. The way she'd planned it to hurt me as much as possible. My phone started buzzing around midnight. Text after text from people at the party, all some variation of, "Are you okay?" And that was so fucked up. A few mentioned that the party had died immediately after I left, with people making awkward excuses and heading home. Nothing from Chloe. Nothing from Jake. I turned off my phone and finished my pie. The next morning, I had 17 missed calls and a dozen texts from Chloe. "Where did you go last night?" "People are asking questions." "Can we talk?" "You're being dramatic." I deleted them all without responding. Over the next few days, she kept trying. Casual texts like, "Want to grab coffee?" and "Seen any good movies lately?" As if nothing had happened. As if announcing her relationship with my ex-boyfriend at my birthday party while calling me boring was just another Tuesday. I didn't respond to any of them. But here's where the story gets interesting. About a month later, I was at a work conference downtown. I do grant writing for a nonprofit, and I'd thrown myself into the job partly as a distraction. The conference was at a big hotel, and I was heading back to my room around 10 p.m. when I saw someone familiar in the hotel bar. Chloe, but not with Jake. She was in a corner booth with some guy I'd never seen before, and they were all over each other. Making out, his hands wandering, her doing that breathy laugh she used when she wanted to seem irresistible. It was unmistakably intimate, and unmistakably not her boyfriend of 4 weeks. I took out my phone and snapped several photos. Not because I had a plan, but because some instinct told me this information might matter someday. Over the next few weeks, I found myself paying attention to Chloe's social media patterns. Not obsessively, but with the same methodical focus I used for work projects. And I found inconsistencies everywhere. She'd post romantic dinner photos with Jake on Friday nights, but her location tags told different stories. Date night at that cute bistro was actually tagged at a bar across town. Movie night with my love was posted at 9 p.m. while her Venmo showed drinks at a club until 2 a.m. I started documenting everything. Screenshots, location data, transaction records that contradicted her public story. Not out of jealousy, but with growing certainty that Jake deserved to know who he was really dating. The breaking point came 2 months after my birthday. I ran into Jake at a coffee shop near my office. He looked exhausted, stressed in a way I'd never seen during our relationship. "Emma," he said, genuinely surprised. "How are you?" "I'm good," I said. "Actually, really good." "How are you?" He was quiet, then asked, "When we were together, did you ever lie about where you were or what you were doing?" My heart sank. "Never, Jake." "Why?" He looked miserable. "Chloe's been acting strange. Secretive. Her stories don't add up, and when I ask about it, she says I'm being controlling and paranoid. I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my mind." This was my moment. The old Emma would have stayed out of it, made some non-committal comment, and changed the subject. But the woman who'd walked out of her own birthday party wasn't that person anymore. "If someone had information that might be relevant to your relationship," I said carefully, "would you want to know?" He looked at me for a long moment. "Yes, absolutely." I pulled out my phone, created a new email account, and sent him everything. Every screenshot, every photo, every piece of evidence I'd collected. Location inconsistencies, photos with other men, financial records that contradicted her stories about where she'd been. "I'm not trying to hurt anyone," I said as his phone buzzed with the notification. "But you deserve the truth." Jake scrolled through everything, his face cycling through shock, recognition, and finally relief. "Thank you," he said. "I thought I was going crazy." That was 3 weeks ago. This morning, I woke up to 19 missed calls and 37 text messages, all from Chloe. Emma, please call me back. I know what you did. How could you be so vindictive? Jake broke up with me, and I know you're behind it. You're such a spiteful bitch, please. I'm sorry about your birthday. Can we just talk? I never meant to hurt you. Jake won't listen to me. Please tell him those pictures don't mean anything, Emma, please. I'm begging you. I love him. You've ruined my life over petty jealousy. I read through them while drinking my morning coffee, feeling remarkably calm. The desperation was familiar, the same energy she'd used every time she'd taken something from me and then tried to make me feel unreasonable for being upset. My phone rang again. Chloe's name on the screen. I answered. Emma, thank God, she sobbed. I've been trying to reach you for hours. Jake won't talk to me. He blocked me everywhere, and I know you sent him those pictures. Hello, Chloe. Those pictures don't mean anything, she rushed on. That guy was just a friend. We weren't doing anything serious. Jake is completely overreacting, and if you just told him it was all a misunderstanding, were you sleeping with him? I asked. Silence. Were you sleeping with that guy while you were dating Jake? It's complicated, she said finally. You don't understand. My relationship with Jake is real, but sometimes I need. Look, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you sabotaged my relationship out of jealousy. Even now, caught completely, she was trying to make me the villain. You're right about one thing, I said. I did sabotage your relationship, but not out of jealousy. Then why? Because you called me too boring for Jake at my own birthday party. Because you've spent 12 years taking everything I cared about and making sure I knew I didn't matter. Because Jake deserved to know who he was dating. Emma, that's not fair. You want to know what's not fair? I continued, my voice still calm. What's not fair is spending 12 years making excuses for someone who saw me as nothing more than a prop for their own ego. She was crying now, but they weren't tears of genuine remorse. They were frustrated tears from someone used to getting their way. Please, she said. We've been friends for 12 years. That has to count for something. You can't throw away our entire friendship over one mistake. One mistake. I laughed. Chloe, you've been making the same mistake for 12 years. You just never faced consequences before. What do you want from me? You want me to grovel? Fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Is that what you need? I don't need anything from you, I said. That's what you don't understand. For the first time in 12 years, I don't want or need anything from you at all. You're being ridiculous. I hung up. She called back immediately. I declined. She called again. I declined. On the fourth call, I blocked her number. Then I blocked her on every social media platform, blocked her email, and sent a brief message to our mutual friends asking them not to pass along any messages from her. I know some people might think what I did was vindictive. Maybe it was. But for the first time in my adult life, I chose to protect someone else instead of protecting Chloe from the consequences of her own actions. Jake texted me yesterday. Thank you for being honest with me. I'm sorry she used your birthday to hurt you. You deserved so much better. I wrote back. You deserved better too. And I meant it. I'm not harboring secret hopes about Jake and me. That ship sailed long ago, and I'm genuinely glad it did. But I'm happy he escaped before Chloe could do more damage. As for Chloe, I heard through mutual friends that she's telling people I went psycho with jealousy and destroyed her relationship out of spite. I'm sure some people believe her. She's always been good at controlling narratives. But I'm not interested in defending myself or setting records straight. The people who matter will figure out the truth, and the people who don't matter, well, they don't matter. I've been thinking about what real friendship means. I used to think it meant loyalty no matter what, keeping secrets, supporting someone even when they were wrong. But I think it actually means holding each other accountable and refusing to enable destructive behavior. The strangest part is how free I feel. I didn't realize how much energy I'd been spending managing Chloe's emotions, making excuses for her selfishness, being smaller so she could shine brighter. Without that weight, I can finally breathe. 3 months ago, if someone told me I'd end a 12-year friendship and feel good about it, I would have thought they were crazy. But sitting here now, in my quiet apartment with no drama and no manipulation, I know what peace feels like. I don't know if I did the right thing, but I finally slept through the night. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button.